Hi, I'm a Tenants Union member and also a tenant at the Belvedere. I'd like to acknowledge that we're on coastal territories and also that there's going to be someone coming to do that acknowledgement. Maybe we'll jump forward into some of our speakers today. First, I'd like to introduce Alice. If the questions can be held till the end, that would be great. Alice has been a tenant at the Belvedere for 20 years. She's a musician, a Tenants Union member, and an active member in the Mount Pleasant community. Alice is going to read a letter on behalf of all the tenants of the Belvedere for Steve Williams. So Alice, if you'd like to come forward and read your letter, the letter from all of us.
Alice, can you start with your first last name and spell it for us, please?
Alice, A-L-I-C-E, Hamilton, H-A-M-I-L-T-O-N. Thanks, Vivian. The tenants of the Belvedere, with the support of the Vancouver Tenant Union, would like to collectively show their solidarity with Steve Williams. We appreciate and value Steve's presence in our building and are angered by the news of his impending eviction. Throughout the past 2 years, the landlords of the Belvedere and their agents have made it clear to us that they plan to evict each and every one of us from our homes through whatever means available to them. They have made it increasingly difficult to comply with their terms for rent payment. They have made our lives in the building increasingly intolerable by turning it into a perpetual construction site with no standards of cleanliness, timeliness, and quiet enjoyment. They have withheld basic utilities with unreasonable frequency. We have been collectively harassed and intimidated by their agents, who have succeeded in causing several vulnerable tenants to terminate their leases for various reasons, including fear of physical retaliation, fear of calls to mental health services, and frustration with living conditions. We have been collectively seeking to fight back against this process of divide and conquer, but have been dismayed to watch as the beloved elders of our building have been singled out in particular. Seniors are targeted due to their long-term tenancies, which, due to a lack of broader rent control, means that they are some of the only tenants with affordable rents. This is why the province and the city need to work to find better methods of supporting Vancouver's senior tenants. We cannot continue to watch as increasing numbers of currently housed seniors become homeless.
Thank you very much, Alice.
Woo!
Our next speaker is McClure. Liam is an advocate with the Vancouver Tenants Union and has been responsible for helping Steve Williams with his RTB arbitration.
Thanks.
How do you spell your name?
Liammccclure.
Capital C?
Capital C, thanks. The Vancouver Tenants Union assisted Steve Williams with his arbitration at the residential tenancy branch, though success there is unlikely due to the highly punitive provisions of the Residential Tenancy Act surrounding late payment of rent. Steve Williams has lived at the Belvedere for 27 years and is now facing eviction as a result of new management who have stated their intent to empty and re-rent the building. Mr. Williams had an agreement with the previous building manager to pay his rent during the course of the month whenever he was able over the course of his 27-year tenancy. New property management turned around and issued him an eviction notice for repeat late payment of rent during a period of personal hardship. Mr. Williams, 63 himself, has been caretaking on Vancouver Island for his parents in their late 80s, and his own health has been suffering, and he's been working half-time on advice from his physician. He is now receiving income assistance. It is no surprise that there is incentive to end a $425 a month tenancy in Mount Pleasant, as this eviction corresponds with an effort by building management to bribe, renovict, and intimidate the tenants of the building into ending their tenancies. This is unfortunately not an isolated incident, but a trend in Vancouver. The last pockets of affordability in Mount Pleasant are disappearing as seniors are rendered invisible with the gentrification of the area. Affordable, community-oriented businesses that cater to the elderly and low-income community are disappearing. We have little doubt that Mr. Williams' unit will reappear on the market as a $1,000+ heritage bachelor unit within a year's time. Recent changes to the Residential Tenancy Act eliminating fixed-term tenancies and geographic rent increases have been encouraging. However, rent evictions and other loopholes remain widely abused. The Residential Tenancy Act needs an overhaul rather than the small tweaks we have seen so far. The provision of the Act that Mr. Williams is facing eviction under is a redundancy, as landlords already have the power to pursue an eviction for a single late payment. The repeat late payment provision merely serves to increase housing precarity for low-income working people. We need stronger tenant protections for seniors as well as tenants facing homelessness. Seniors typically have longer tenure and lower rents, creating incentive to turn their suites over to the market. This highlights the most important point, is that we need a regime of real rent control in British Columbia, tying rents to the unit rather than the tenant. Real rent control will entirely disincentivize the abusive practices we are witnessing and retain what limited affordability remains in the city. In the absence of decisive actions from the province, there are steps the City of Vancouver could take unilaterally within their own authority. Strengthening the tenant relocation and protection policy, disclosing city permits to affected renters, and attaching anti-displacement language to city permits are all measures which could prevent or deter rent evictions. Recent positive signals from our provincial and municipal governments have frankly come too late, and we need decisive action now to preserve what remaining affordability and housing security remains in the city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pat is going to come up and speak. Pat has faced some of the same issues that Steve has faced. Steve is not able to be with us today because he's feeling a great deal of intimidation from our landlord, who has intimidated a lot of us in the building. But Pat is going to speak to his own experience of being intimidated in a similar situation.
Pat, tell us your last name.
My last name is Perrino, P-E-R-R-I-N-O, and I just went through an eviction notice and went through the Residential Tenancy Board. They were trying to get a bunch of tenants out of our building, about 9 units, due to water breakage at the building entrance. Only 1 unit actually got water damage, but they insisted that 8 units would be necessarily vacated by all tenants so that they can continue with the renovations of the building. I consider them renovictions actually, because I had no water damage, and most units didn't have any water damage, but the owner insisted that there was water damage, and he had insurance people there. He had city permits to renovate the building. The arbitrator in my case found the evidence to be it wasn't real, and they found in our favor. And thank you to Liam and Daria of the Tenants Union that helped me through this process. Without them, I don't think I would have won the case. But anyway, thank you to the Tenants Union of Vancouver and everybody that helped.
Right on.
I think it's still really important to do a territorial acknowledgement, so I'm just going to invite Nicola to come up and do that right now. Nicola is from the Squamish Nation. She is a mother, a student at SFU in her final years, and a traditionally trained ethnobotanist. We're going to do that, and we're going to do some quick questions right at the end.
people gathered here today. This is a very big issue, and I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Nicola, and I'm from the Squamish Nation, and we are all standing here today on the unceded traditional lands and waters of the Coast Salish, the Pamakuya, the Sisleotooth, and Siskohomish Oath. And so the three nations are a few of the many Coast Salish people that walked across these lands, and these are traditional territories since before time immemorial. And for us, we are also, as Indigenous people, evicted from our own territories. And for today, there's still these issues of elders, of seniors, and people of all ages being not having the right, which is housing. And so it's really tough and swallowing to me, and it lifts my heart to see many people out here today, and we're all wanting to see the justice and having the power for the people to bring our people to a place of having safe housing and not being threatened of eviction and threatened of homelessness. And so what I wanted to sing today, when we sing our songs and honor the land, we must always tell where the song comes from and share permissions. My family is given permission to share this song, but some songs you must only be seen, and things where we can't share it from different families. So this song is called Greeting of the Day, and it's from a woman named Sequoia, and she lived in Stanley Park. We know today now near where Lumberman's Arch is, but this was a village, and she would sing this across the water back to Eslahan, what we know near today as the waterfront near Lonsdale Key. And so this Greeting of the Day is supposed to be kind of like a blanket or a blessing to honor the good work that's happening. So we raise our hands and say Haichka. That means that we're saying thank you or giving welcoming. And so thank you for all these people gathered here today to bring justice for people in housing. And so you guys can kind of clap along if you want to, but I'll just be singing this to honor the land that we're on today is unceded Coast Salish territory. It's not the city of Vancouver's place to tell people that they are not allowed to have housing as a right, because that's what it is.
Thank you very much. I'm just going to open it up to questions. Oh, sorry. I'm just going to introduce Rebecca. Rebecca is a tenant at the Belvedere and a Vancouver Tenants Union member, and she's going to say something.
Hi there. I just wanted to say that we've organized our building. There's quite a few people who are members of the Vancouver Tenants Union living in this building. We are calling upon people throughout the city of Vancouver to do the same in their buildings, to get to know your neighbors, to try to understand what kind of issues are affecting your neighbors, and to try to help them with these very difficult processes of trying to avoid being targeted for eviction. And I think it's a problem that's affecting many, many people. And I just want to say that we are planning on, we're not going to give up. We're not going to give up on a single member of this building. We all love each other very much and want each and every person to stay where they are. And yeah, the landlords of the Belvedere are in for a fight.
Woo!
Sure. It's Rebecca, Rebecca, Brewer, Brewer.
Now, one second here. Who is running this place? Because I'm a trans woman, and it's illegal for me to be a woman without getting evicted. I'm roller girl Vancouver, and I worked for the community for so many years, and yet I want to take over Gregor Robertson's spot. You know, to work for everybody. You know, there's got to be a solution. The eviction and higher rate for rent. It's boring. How much do you make an hour? Not too much. It's really hardly any food money left after rent. Everybody wants salvation. Everybody wants salvation. I'm the one that's confident in people's rights. I'm running out there fighting for people's rights to save people's lives. We have to learn and change and love upon each another. Not to hate and put people homeless. No, come on. You know, every year I go through housing situation. It's illegal for me to be a woman. You know? Where's salvation?
Thank you.
Thanks, Angela. I think we're gonna stop there, and the individuals that have spoken can do questions one-on-one. So I wanted to thank everybody for coming. It was really great that we had such a good turnout. And see you next time.
Thank you for organizing these. Thank you.
Thank you. Woo!